They called it a myth, a parable, a warning wrapped in allegory. But what if the legend of Atlantis wasn't just a story from Plato's imagination? What if, buried beneath layers of time, sand, and secrecy, there are clues pointing to a lost civilization more advanced than we dare to believe? In 360 BCE, Plato wrote of a vast island empire that existed 9,000 years before his time. A civilization that ruled the Atlantic, possessed unimaginable wealth, and harnessed technologies that defied comprehension. According to him, Atlantis vanished in a single day and night of misfortune. For millennia, scholars dismissed it as fiction, but they weren't looking closely enough. Most people forget that Plato wasn't writing fiction. His accounts of Atlantis appear in two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, where he describes the tale as passed down from Egyptian priests to the Athenian lawgiver Solon. Plato emphasized that this was no fable but a true story. Why would the founder of Western philosophy risk his credibility on a fabrication? More importantly, why does his description align so precisely with geographic and archaeological features we only began discovering in the modern era? Satellite images of the ocean floor reveal a massive, grid-like structure submerged off the coast of Western Africa, right where Plato said Atlantis once stood. Stretching across the seabed like the faint imprint of a vanished city, these formations are dismissed by mainstream science as natural. But geologists like Dr. Michael Morell have claimed these lines show evidence of intelligent design. Symmetry, alignment, and consistent spacing. Coincidence or cover-up? And then there's the Richat structure, also called the Eye of the Sahara. Situated in Mauritania, this vast, concentric formation matches Plato's description of Atlantis almost too perfectly. 3 circular rings of land and water, a central island, and mountains to the north. It's the right size, it's in the right region, and even the presence of red, black, and white stones, just as Plato described, exists there. Why has no one officially connected the dots? Perhaps because to do so would unravel everything we've been taught about the origins of civilization. If Atlantis was real, its downfall may not have been a natural disaster, but a calculated act of erasure. Ancient texts hint at civilizations being punished for reaching too far, acquiring forbidden knowledge, or unlocking energy sources rivaling those of the gods. Some researchers argue that Atlantis tapped into vibrational energy from Earth's ley lines. Others suggest the use of crystals for energy storage and healing, ideas mirrored in Egyptian, Vedic, and even Mesoamerican traditions. So why are these ideas still labeled pseudoscience? Because admitting their validity would force a total rewrite of human history. Take the Piri-Reis map drawn in 1513. It features an accurate depiction of the Antarctic coast, without ice, even though modern science didn't confirm this until the 20th century. How could such knowledge exist 5 centuries ago? Scholars believe Piri-Reis compiled older source maps, fragments from long-lost civilizations. If Atlantis had global reach, then remnants of its knowledge could have filtered through time via secret societies, priesthoods, or hidden scrolls. Map is never just about geography, it's about what someone wanted you to find. Pyramids aren't unique to Egypt. They exist across the globe, in Mesoamerica, China, Sudan, and even submerged off the coast of Japan. Could these structures have originated from a single, advanced source, a civilization predating all others? Plato wrote that Atlantis influenced many nations. If true, then the spread of pyramid building could be the fingerprint of a lost master culture, a civilization with cosmic knowledge encoded in stone. And the Great Pyramid of Giza? Some believe it's not a tomb at all, but a power plant, harnessing harmonic resonance to produce energy. The inner chambers and shafts align with constellations and mathematical constants with eerie precision. Is it the work of the Egyptians or something much older? In the Bahamas, the Bimini Road is a submerged formation of massive flat stones that appear to be the remnants of an ancient harbor. Edgar Cayce, the famed sleeping prophet, predicted that Atlantis would begin to rise near Bimini in the late 1960s. Coincidentally, or not, Diverse found the formation in 1968. Magnetic anomalies in the region have baffled scientists. Compasses spin wildly. Instruments fail. Some speculate that remnants of Atlantean technology, buried and still active, may be distorting the area. Here's where the story darkens. Multiple civilizations, Sumerians, Greeks, Hopi, Dogon, describe sky beings or gods who taught humanity architecture, astronomy, and agriculture. Could these gods have been survivors of Atlantis? Refugees of a ruined empire who became mythologized as deities? Or were they the reason Atlantis was destroyed? In the Book of Enoch, the Watchers descend and teach forbidden arts. In Genesis, the Nephilim walk the earth. The themes repeat. Knowledge given too soon leads to ruin. What if the Atlanteans weren't destroyed by the gods, but became them? The pieces are there, scattered across continents, encoded in architecture, embedded in myth. Atlantis may not just be real, it may be closer than we ever imagined. But the real question isn't whether it existed. It's why so many have worked so hard to hide it. They say the dead tell no tales. But what if the stones do? Across the globe, megalithic structures defy explanation. The precision of their cuts, the magnitude of their weight, and the mathematical sophistication of their alignments point to knowledge far beyond what mainstream archaeology credits ancient civilizations with. In Baalbek, Lebanon, lies the stone of the pregnant woman, a single block weighing over 1,000 tons. No modern crane could lift it. In Pumapunku, Bolivia, H-shaped stones with interlocking precision resemble modular engineering, executed with tolerances akin to modern machining. Were these the outposts of Atlantis? Nearly every ancient culture speaks of a great flood. The Sumerians, the Greeks, the Hindus, the Native Americans, stories of a cataclysmic deluge that wiped out a golden age of humanity. Plato's account aligns with this too. The fall of Atlantis comes by water in a single devastating event. Some geologists now believe a global flooding event occurred around 11,600 years ago, coinciding with the end of the last ice age. They call it the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a comet or asteroid strike that triggered massive climate shifts. It aligns not only with Plato's timeline but with Göbekli Tepe's carvings, which some believe depict a celestial event in the night sky at that exact time. Coincidence? Or confirmation? Discovered in Turkey in the 1990s, Göbekli Tepe is a prehistoric megalithic complex that predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years. Its creators carved 20-foot-tall pillars from limestone, aligning them astronomically, long before the invention of writing, the wheel, or agriculture. How could primitive hunter-gatherers build something so advanced? Some believe Göbekli Tepe was built by the survivors of a cataclysm, keepers of a lost legacy, rebuilding civilization from the ashes. The intricate carvings of animals, celestial bodies, and abstract symbols may not be religious, they may be a warning. A message for the future, encoded in stone, about a disaster from the past. As empires fell and the ancient world crumbled, secret orders rose, guardians of forgotten knowledge, the Knights Templar, the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons. These groups claimed lineage not from kings or nations, but from keepers of ancient wisdom. Masonic symbols like the all-seeing eye, the compass and square, and the unfinished pyramid mirror Atlantean themes. Enlightenment, cosmic order, and sacred geometry, were these symbols merely allegorical, or do they preserve the codes of an ancient science? The Earth is covered in mysterious energy lines, known as ley lines, connecting sacred sites across continents. From Stonehenge to the Great Pyramid, Machu Picchu to Easter Island, these locations align too precisely to be accidental. Many believe Atlantis mastered these energetic pathways, using them to build temples at harmonic nodes where Earth's natural frequencies intensified. Some theorists call these Earth chakras, claiming that ancient sites act like acupuncture points for the planet. Even more radical theories suggest that Atlantis used these spots to access interdimensional portals, stargates, powered by electromagnetic resonance. Madness, or misunderstood science. Legends speak of a primordial language lost to time that held the power to shape reality. The Egyptians called it Medu-Neter, the words of the gods. The Hindus spoke of Sanskrit as divine speech. And in occult texts, the Enochian language is said to have been revealed by celestial beings. Could these be fragments of a single Atlantean language, one capable of programming the universe through vibration and frequency? Modern science now confirms that sound can shape matter. Through cymatics, certain frequencies produce complex geometrical patterns in sand, water, and even cells. Did the Atlanteans wield this knowledge to build, heal, and destroy? Few institutions guard ancient knowledge more zealously than the Vatican. Its secret archives span centuries and are nearly impenetrable to outsiders. What ancient manuscripts lie hidden there? What forbidden texts, maps, or scrolls escape the fires of history? Some whistleblowers claim the Vatican holds pre-Christian Atlantean texts, records of a civilization that challenged divine authority. Others speak of devices, blueprints, or even artifacts sealed away for centuries. Why hide them? Because Atlantis wasn't just a place, it was a threat to dogma, power, and control. Atlantis is more than a historical mystery, it's a battleground of narratives. Mainstream science scoffs at the idea, branding its seekers as fringe theorists. But the pattern is clear. Discoveries that challenge the academic timeline are dismissed, discredited, or destroyed. Dr. Virginia Delacroix, a once prominent archaeologist, claimed to have found a submerged Atlantean temple near the Azores in 2011. She was discredited, her funding pulled, and her work vanished. To this day, she refuses interviews. Who decides what's real history? The deeper we dig, the more undeniable the evidence becomes. We are not the first advanced civilization. We are the echo of a forgotten one. The question isn't whether Atlantis was real. The question is, what are they so afraid you'll find? The greatest mysteries were never meant to be solved. They were meant to be rediscovered. There is a theory, quietly discussed in certain academic circles, that the descendants of Atlantis still walk among us. Not as kings or elites, but as carriers of a genetic legacy that doesn't quite fit within the standard human timeline. This idea hinges on a genetic anomaly known as R-negative blood. Found in only a small percentage of the global population, its origin is a mystery. Unlike other blood types, R-negative blood lacks a protein linked to the rhesus monkey, from which other blood types are derived. So where did it come from? Some suggest that R-negative individuals are the living remnants of Atlantean genetics, descendants of a civilization that may have engineered its own biology. What lies beneath the ice? In 2016, satellite images revealed a series of strange formations under the ice of Antarctica. Pyramidal shapes, massive ridges, and even what some interpret as runways. Whistleblowers from military operations claim ancient structures lie buried deep under miles of ice, structures that don't match any known civilization. Could this be the final resting place of Atlantis? Plato described Atlantis as disappearing beneath the sea. If the Earth's poles shifted during the Younger Dryas cataclysm, could the continent now known as Antarctica have once supported a temperate climate and advanced life? Some believe that ancient maps, like the Orontius Phineas map, depict Antarctica without ice. That kind of cartographic precision shouldn't have existed in the 1500s unless it was copied from something far older. All across the ancient world, obelisks pierced the sky, massive monoliths carved from a single piece of stone, often aligned with astronomical events. But were they symbolic or functional? Some theorists argue that obelisks acted as resonance antennas, capturing and amplifying frequencies from both the Earth and cosmos. When placed on nodal points of the Earth's energy grid, they could have functioned like transmitters, harmonizing the planet's vibrations. And if obelisks were part of a global system, who built the first? All fingers point back to Atlantis. Modern researchers have found quartz-rich granite in many of these structures, a material known for its piezoelectric properties. In simple terms, quartz can turn mechanical stress into electric energy. Could these ancient monuments have powered an entire civilization? Beneath the sands of Egypt, under the Sphinx's paw, lies something that has stirred the curiosity of seekers for centuries: the rumored Hall of Records. Egyptian legends speak of a vault containing Atlantean knowledge, blueprints, history, star maps, and cosmic codes preserved for a future age. Despite repeated denials by authorities, seismic scans in the 1990s confirmed the presence of anomalous cavities beneath the Sphinx. So why haven't they been excavated? Because unlocking those chambers might validate a version of history long feared by modern institutions, a version where humanity's true origins are not primitive but profound. The ancients weren't just fascinated by the stars, they were obsessed. Structures like Stonehenge, Angkor Wat, Teotihuacan, and the pyramids of Giza all show precise alignments with solstices, equinoxes, and celestial constellations. But there's a deeper mystery hidden in these alignments. They correspond not just to modern skies, but to how the stars appeared thousands of years ago. Who had that kind of astronomical knowledge? Some believe Atlantis possessed the key to precessional astronomy, the 26,000-year wobble of Earth's axis known as the Great Year. Only a civilization with millennia of observational data could have mapped it. And yet, those numbers are encoded into myths across the world. If Atlantis had the key to energy, consciousness, and even interdimensional travel, why did it fall? Many ancient texts suggest a spiritual corruption. The Atlanteans, once guardians of balance, began to tamper with forces beyond their control: genetic manipulation, dimensional gateways, and the bending of time itself. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth speak of the Dark Brotherhood, entities from beyond our dimension who sought to enslave mankind through knowledge twisted into sorcery. Could this be why Atlantis was destroyed, not by nature, but by a self-inflicted war of forbidden science? Stories of vast subterranean tunnels stretch from South America to Tibet. Known as the Pathways of the Serpent, they are said to have connected temples, cities, and continents. The Incas, the Egyptians, the Hopi, and even the Nazis all spoke of these inner Earth corridors. Were these emergency escape routes or remnants of Atlantean infrastructure? In Ecuador, Father Crespi was gifted metal plates and scrolls inscribed with unknown symbols, allegedly recovered from one such underground city. The collection vanished after his death. No explanation was given. Every time a new discovery edges too close to rewriting history, a pattern emerges. First, discredit the researcher. Second, isolate the data. Third, flood the narrative with absurd theories. This process doesn't just preserve ignorance, it manufactures it. The goal isn't just to hide Atlantis, it's to make you laugh at the idea of it. Because the moment you stop asking questions, they win. Something ancient sleeps beneath the ocean, the ice, the sand, and perhaps even our very genes. Atlantis is not a fantasy. It is a fractured memory, echoing through ruins, whispered in myths, encoded in stone, and pulsing beneath the feet of those who still seek it. But if Atlantis fell for abusing its power, then what happens to us when we rediscover it? The past is not dead, it's waiting. In the heart of myth lies a disturbing question. Did Atlantis harness machines beyond our comprehension? Ancient Hindu texts speak of vimanas, flying vehicles powered by mercury vortex engines. The Book of Enoch references fire chariots and luminous wheels. Even the Dogon tribe of Mali, with no written language, accurately described the invisible orbit of Sirius B, a fact Western science only confirmed with telescopes centuries later. How did they know? Some believe these were remnants of Atlantean technology, machines capable of flight, energy generation, and perhaps even time manipulation. Not stories, not symbols, survivals. The Great Pyramid contains no soot, no hieroglyphs, no confirmed burial. It is not a tomb. But what is it? Researchers now suggest it was a sonic device, built to resonate at specific frequencies. The king's chamber, lined with red granite high in quartz, vibrates when exposed to sound. Could this resonance have been used to levitate objects, heal the sick, open portals? Experiments with cymatics reveal that sound alone can levitate small objects. So what happens when you scale that power to megaliths? Could the Atlanteans have mastered a lost science of sound, where frequency shaped the physical world? A theory so bizarre it borders on the forbidden. What if the moon itself is not what we think? Esoteric scholars from ancient China to modern occultists have whispered about the moon being an artificial construct, placed in orbit to regulate tides, control biology, and even influence consciousness. The Zulu shaman Credo Mutwa claimed that long ago humanity lived without a moon, in a golden age of balance. Then it appeared and chaos followed. Could it be that Atlantis once existed under a different sky, before the lunar mechanism disrupted Earth's resonance? Was the fall of Atlantis not just planetary but cosmic? In South America, the Nazca lines stretch across desert plains, giant geoglyphs only visible from the air. They form animals, spirals, and what looks eerily like a runway. The lines point to distant horizons, align with solstices, and even mirror star constellations. But why? Some theorists argue these are not just symbols but coordinates, a celestial map left by Atlantean survivors, warning of future alignments and disasters. Others believe the lines are part of an activation code, a puzzle that, when completed, unlocks the final memory of Atlantis itself. You've walked past them, touched them, photographed them. The symbols are everywhere, embedded in our architecture, art, and corporate logos: the pine cone, the third eye, the spiral, DNA and time, the vesica piscis, creation and duality, and the checkerboard floor, duality and control. All of them echo sacred Atlantean principles. Even Washington, D.C. is aligned like an ancient temple. Obelisks, domes, and Masonic grids form a web of power not unlike the ancient layouts of Egyptian cities. This is not accidental. This is inheritance. What if some of us remember Atlantis, not from books but from somewhere deeper? Have you ever felt out of place in this world, drawn to the stars, ancient ruins, or mysteries you've never been taught? Some spiritual traditions claim the souls of Atlantis chose to return, scattered across timelines, waking slowly in this modern age. To warn, to restore, to remember. In 2022, a private collector in Alexandria claimed to possess a charred scroll from the Library of Alexandria. It was encoded with Atlantean symbols, mathematical harmonics, and references to a device called the Eye of Kronos, a tool said to reveal past and future simultaneously. Experts dismissed it as a hoax. Within a month, the collector vanished. His house was burned to the ground. No trace of the scroll remains. But the whispers say it held more than coordinates. It held a trigger, the knowledge to activate dormant Atlantean technology buried beneath the ocean floor. The cities we live in, the devices we use, the consciousness we awaken, all echo the shadow of something that came before. Atlantis is not lost beneath waves. It is mirrored in our dreams, our science, our stories. It was a network of minds and machines. a civilization bound not by borders but by frequency. And it's waking up. The ruins are reactivating. The bloodlines are stirring. The questions grow louder. And perhaps, just perhaps, Atlantis is not behind us, and it's ahead of us.